We just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, I'm going to do my review for Season 2 of The Arrow. So after the conclusion of a very good Season 1 of The Arrow, Season 2 shows our hero Oliver making drastic changes to his crusade, primarily not killing anyone. Now, on top of not killing people, I also felt that Oliver faced a whole new set of challenges this season. And furthermore, I also felt that Season 2 is much more action-packed than the first. One thing's for sure, I also felt a lot of people found out his identity in Season 2. And this only further complicated things for not only Oliver, but for Green Arrow as well, and even his team. And it wasn't just Oliver and Green Arrow facing challenges, but his team as well. For instance, John Diggle, not only reconciling with his wife, but on several occasions having to team up with Deadshot, really shows how the character has a lot of honor and really can put aside his personal differences when it comes to needing to get a job done. But let's also talk about some of the really good stuff. While the early on portion of the season was great to see, like the Dollmaker and Count Vertigo, or at least the release of Count Vertigo after the earthquake, it was Slade Wilson's master plot throughout the season that really started to take place and form in the early portion of it that really made Season 2 such a great spectacle to watch. Knowing that Wilson was working with blood from the very beginning and also had his hand in many different affairs and pulling many different strings was just incredible. It was like watching a movie unfold every week. And what made Slade such a compelling character as well is that he had everybody involved, from Isabel to Moira, and was always one step ahead of Oliver and his team. It just made Slade such a compelling villain, not only because of his skills as a fighter and the fact that he's a cold-blooded killer, but he was also a mastermind. Speaking of Moira, it was also good how they dangled our emotional feelings using her character. I mean, on one hand, you hate the woman knowing some of the things she knows and some of the secrets she keeps, but at the same time, you root for her, you pull for her, you wanted her to win the election, only to come back and hate her again when you find out more secrets. And then to top that all off, during her sacrifice towards the end of the season when she gave her life for her kids, they at the same time coupled that with flashbacks of her basically paying off one of Oliver's girlfriends who was pregnant. So now we know that Oliver has a child out there somewhere, and I'd be hard-pressed to think that we won't see that child play a factor at some point in the near future. However, even with all that, her death was still very sad, and it was a very emotional moment for her kids, but it also showed her bravery, and it did show her courage, even if we all know that at this point in Moira's lifetime on the show, a lot of her decisions to lie and keep secrets from her kids to protect them would have been better suited going the other way and being honest with them, and hey, that's just how shit goes down. Even with all that, Moira's death was still very sad, and seeing Oliver and Thea there just crying and whimpering as Slade stabbed her through the heart, it was rough to watch. And you do know that Moira loves her kids. She did show a sense of bravery and courage, and there was a little bit of redeeming quality to all that. But the lesson here is that you shouldn't lie to your kids, you shouldn't lie to your family just for the sake of protecting them. They were better off being honest with each other and just working together through all their troubles. Hopefully it's a lesson to be learned by the remaining Queen family. Now, moving on from that, eventually Oliver would have to team himself up with some undesirables in Nyssa and the League of Assassins. And while Ra's al Ghul's daughter made an appearance earlier in the season, showing to be Sarah's lover of the past, she would play a key role in the salvation of Starling City. And speaking of Sarah, it wasn't a huge surprise for me that it was her in the very early part of the show behind the mask. I mean, I sat there and I tried to think, well, who else could it be? I knew it wasn't Laurel, and I knew for a damn fact that it wasn't Helena. So she's the first person that came to mind, considering that we already had seen a reveal that Malcolm Merlyn had been alive. So there was nothing out of the ordinary in this show at this point. One of the best parts involving Sarah, though, was her revealing to her father that she was alive. It was a very touching moment, very emotional, and actor Paul Blackthorne played it perfectly. He had me convinced. I felt his feels during that moment. And Sarah's reveal opened up the world to a whole new set of flashbacks involving Oliver, Slade, Sarah, and Shadow. Now we know why Slade turned out the way he turned out and why he wants vengeance on Oliver. Now, Laurel this season annoyed me to no end, and she blamed everybody for her downfall. She could not get out of her own way. And even though she did have some redeeming qualities towards the end, she did much too many things in the beginning of the season that really turned me off, and I really didn't care for her much this season. That doesn't mean that the actress did bad or that the character was bad. In fact, the actress probably did her job and probably was supposed to make you feel that way. She succeeded. So now, who is my most progressive character of season 2? Well, I gotta say, it has to be Thea. Thea from season 1, early on, was very annoying, and she kind of was this and that and always holding things against people and holding grudges. Season 2, she really grew into her own, started making sacrifices for other people. Her sacrifice and her taking the chance on Roy is a prime example. Running the club, really growing into her own, and really finding a place of peace before everything being shattered, not only with the death of her mother, but the revelation of who her father was. And it really was a very complex, very powerful journey for Thea that was surrounded by a lot of chaos and a lot of action. I was really invested in her character because of all her growth. From saving Roy and really developing Roy into a better person and helping him, to running Oliver's club and finding a way to forgive her mother while she was in jail. And she really did find a peaceful place until the very end, finding out she was Malcolm Merlyn's daughter and everything was taken from her, including her mother. It was nice to see her development this year, and I thought it was a great compliment to everything else going on in the show. Now, with Malcolm Merlyn being her sole influence, it'll be a matter of time as to whether or not that influence pays off positively or negatively. One thing's for sure, he's going to teach her how to fight. I think that's pretty evident. And finally, the setup for what is now The Flash Season 1 was very fun to watch. Barry Allen being incorporated into the world of the Arrow was really, really good. And I like the fact that he was in there and he was a lot, really geeky. In fact, I noticed that him in this show versus him in this Flash now, there's a sizable difference in his physique. He looked a lot more scrawnier in the Arrow than he does now in the Flash. And while he's not brolic by any means necessary, he has gained considerable weight compared to what he looked like on the Arrow, at least to me. And then finally, a long-awaited showdown between Oliver Queen as the Green Arrow and Slade Wilson as Deathstroke. So needless to say, I was very happy with Arrow Season 2, and you can start expecting my Arrow Season 3 reviews to debut with the debut of the Flash Arrow crossover coming December 3rd. I am now completely done with Arrow Season 3 in terms of catching up to where they left off, and it's going to be fun to watch going forward, and definitely sharing this with you guys and seeing what you guys think. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, guys, this is Rob signing off for ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching ETN. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers or visit ETN's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description. You're watching ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, I'm going to do my review for Season 2 of The Arrow. So after the conclusion of a very good Season 1 of The Arrow, Season 2 shows our hero Oliver making drastic changes to his crusade, primarily not killing anyone. Now, on top of not killing people, I also felt that Oliver faced a whole new set of challenges this season. And furthermore, I also felt that Season 2 is much more action-packed than the first. One thing's for sure, I also felt a lot of people found out his identity in Season 2. And this only further complicated things for not only Oliver, but for Green Arrow as well, and even his team. And it wasn't just Oliver and Green Arrow facing challenges, but his team as well. For instance, John Diggle, not only reconciling with his wife, but on several occasions having to team up with Deadshot, really shows how the character has a lot of honor and really can put aside his personal differences